So we're talking about a we're talking about something that I feel is super important, and just a little backdrop on how I got to this subject. So if you were on the call last Saturday, we had Todd Holton on the call, and Todd is one of my coaches and one of my mentors. And last Saturday, he put together a great training for us, and he talked about waking up early and performing what he called the 4Gs. Now, me and Todd have worked together for a long time, and he's, like I said, he's been a mentor and a coach of mine for a very, very long time. And it never really occurred to me to ask him what his morning routine was. So on that call, I was learning just as much as anybody else was learning, if you were really paying attention. And I I decided that I was going to immediately put into effect what what Todd had talked about on the call. Not so much immediately, because that Sunday we were still out of town, but that Monday I set my alarm clock for 4 a.m. I got up out of bed. I performed the 4Gs. I recited what I was grateful for. I said my prayers. I got moving right away. And the first that first Monday, it was kind of rough, but now I've been through it every single day since then, including Thanksgiving, and I feel great. I'm able to get a lot more things accomplished, and it brought me to this exact presentation that I wanted to bring to the group, and that's about being coachable and how being coachable can truly benefit and anybody. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. If you're a person that's open to being coached and receiving information that's positive and implementing it immediately, you will see great effects on a positive manner in your life. So, first thing, what does it mean to be coachable? Now, again, this is over accumulation of time, dealing with my mentors, doing studies, and you know, finding out what worked for me and what worked for other people and clients that I've coached. These are some of the things that, to me, what the definition of coachable is. So the first thing is having the humility to know that you do not have all the answers. It is a tough thing to admit when you're wrong. It's a tough thing to admit when you don't understand something, especially for males. Males are, we're filled with pride. We're trained from a very young age to be alpha males and to, always have the answers and be strong. And the sad part is, in today's society, that it's almost seen as a weakness to admit that you don't know something when it's really an actual strength. So humility in itself is it's actually a strength. It's not a weakness, and that's something that a lot of societies frown upon. So part of being coachable is being able to develop that humility and understand that, as humans, we don't have all the answers. And again, age has nothing to do with it, because there could be a younger person who's experienced things. A perfect example, when technology is starting to rise so quickly, my kids understand certain things concerning technology better than I do. So in those times, I have to humble myself and be able to understand that they're teaching me something. So there's always a teachable moment, and if you approach with humility, then you're really going to benefit your life. Make sense? Okay, so accepting the fact that your experiences in life may no longer be applicable, and again, the idea of experience is always being the best teacher. That is absolutely true, but there are situations where, like I said before, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, where things change, and when things change, um, sometimes, even though we've experienced a lot in life, we may be able to relate to them, but we may not fully understand them. So as older adults, or somebody that's older, sometimes taking the back seat and training from somebody that's younger is actually an effective thing. I just got a question is what the 4 Gs are. I will go into the 4 Gs as soon as I get through this slide. So having the courage to take action in uncomfortable environments. So I'm going to go back to, waking up at 4 a.m. I'm naturally an early riser, but waking up at 4 a.m. is not something that, that I looked forward to when I decided that I was going to do exactly what my mentor and coach said. But especially on a Saturday or on a holiday like Thanksgiving, getting up at 4 a.m. when you know everybody else is sleeping, it wasn't comfortable in the beginning. But now it's something that I'm proud of, number one. And number two, it has truly benefited me. So, having the courage to take action in an uncomfortable environment or situation, or maybe not being too sure, but following the lead of your coach, it's huge and it's completely necessary. So before I go to the next slide, we're talking about the 4 Gs. I don't have a slide for that right now, but last week Todd Holton brought up the 4 Gs. So write this down, or Dave, maybe you can put it in the chat. So the 4 Gs is what one of my mentors uses every single morning to get himself primed, and what he calls being ready for the day. So the first G is get moving. What that means is as soon as you get up, you want to get some activity going. So for me, as soon as I wake up, I start stretching immediately. I do a couple of squats. I do a couple of push-ups. I do some crunches. Nothing crazy. I'm not breaking an immediate sweat or I'm putting myself in pain, but I'll do anywhere between 10 to 20 of each. So by doing that, I get the blood flowing. I'm getting loose, and I'm getting my body ready for the day. And then the second G is gratitude. I personally, I have a book. It's a blank notebook. I open it up and I start to write everything that happened to me yesterday and some of the things that I was grateful for, and some of the special moments, no matter how big or small, that it happened. And then in the next paragraph, I write about the expectations that I have for today. What am I expecting to happen today? And what are the things that I'm already grateful for that I know that are going to happen today? And then the third thing is give back. So again, with that, I just start to think about who is it that I can help today. So I'll maybe send out emails to some people that I want to reach out to, and it's 4 in the morning. I'm not going to get a response right away, but they'll get them, or I'll send text messages, and then my goals. That's the fourth one. On my wall, I have my goals written. I have my definition of what my perfect existence is, and every morning that's the last thing I go over is what my goals are, and what I want to see accomplished for the day, for the month, for the year. So those are the 4 Gs that Todd had brought to us last Saturday. I'm going to take it even further, though. I'm going to add a fifth one in there, and that fifth one would be God. And regardless of what your relationship is, or what your divinity is, prayer or meditation, whatever you want to call it, is definitely a great fifth G to add into there. So again, the recap is to get moving. The second thing is to show gratitude. To get moving, first thing in the morning, get the blood flowing. Second thing is show gratitude. Write down what you're grateful for. The third thing is to give back. Think about how or who you can help for the day. And the fourth one is to go over your goals. And again, we're going to have a question and answer at the end of this. So if I need to go any further into that, I definitely will. I can definitely talk about my personal experience, some of the things that I think according to the 4 Gs. So as soon as we get to the end of this presentation, we'll have a great conversation about that. So why find a coach or a mentor? So what I'm going to say with this slide is the beautiful thing about having a coach and or a mentor is you don't have to have just one. I have a coach for fitness. I have a coach for finance. I have a coach for meditation. I have a coach for just day-to-day stuff. And one of my coaches gave me this great quote, and I think to me it 100% defines why having a coach or a mentor, or having the ability to be coachable, is so important. I usually don't read things out loud, but this is just so good that I want to make sure that it sticks. So please read along with me. if you've got it on your screen, it says you're not stuck. You're just committed to a certain patterns of behaviors because they've helped you in the past. Now those behaviors have become more harmful than helpful. The reason why you can't move forward is because you keep applying an old formula to a new level in your life. Change the formula to get a different result. So when my mentor sent that to me and allowed me to add it into my arsenal and something that I was able to read and understand and digest on a day-to-day basis, to me, it was the specific reason why having a mentor, a coach, or going and finding videos on YouTube or reading and educating yourself and continuously growing is so important. The last sentence: change the formula to get different results. You can't change your formula unless you learn some new things about yourself and some new tactics about how you can act on a day-to-day basis. So there are people out there, and they're no better than you, they're no worse than you. They just have a different way and a different formula to do things. So one thing about being a coach is I never go in and deal with somebody thinking that I have to save this person or I'm better than this person, because I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I'm growing just like that person is growing. And 9 times out of 10 in a conversation, I'm going to learn just as much in that conversation as whoever I'm talking on the other side of the phone or face to face is going to learn. So coaching is, a great thing. And having a coach is all about helping to develop, to move to the next level. And again, it's not just about having a coach. You can go on YouTube and ask the same questions. How do I sleep better? How do I advance, my life? How do I set goals? How do I, these are questions that you can put into YouTube, and it will draw you to some great people that will help you understand, what you need. So before I had access to a coach, that's how I learned. I would go on YouTube and I would listen to Zig Ziglar. I would listen to Les Brown, one of my personal favorites. I would listen to Eric Thomas, who's killing it right now, and it's just crushing the game. So I would listen to these guys that have been there before, and they're professionals. I mean, they literally know how to take a message and craft it and deliver it so that it can touch you deep into your soul and you can understand it. And through that, I was able to grow a little bit and progress. And now I'm able to have coaches on a more tangible level that I can text and that I can email and I can have conversations with. And all it has done is blessed my life immensely and allowed me to change the formula so I can get different and better results. So, we need to, now we understand what a coach is and, why we need a coach. But the basic idea is you want to satisfy your desire to change for the better. So how do you qualify a coach? And this is important because not all information is good information. And I'm not talking about so much on a like a YouTube level, but on a local level, you really do have to be careful who you're listening to and who you follow. And you want to make sure that you're qualifying this person to teach you, to train you. And there are some times where not everybody that is unqualified. How do I put this? So there's going to be times where unqualified people can still teach you something. So don't entirely dismiss those people, but you want to focus as much as your attention on qualified coaches and or mentors. So the first thing, are they living the lifestyle you want to live? Or at the very least, are they developing their life into that same direction? So, if you have somebody who's, maybe not in the best financial place that they could be, and they don't have any friends and they're unhealthy, that's not a person that you want to take on as a coach. I mean, again, you could probably still learn some things from them. They probably have some great stories about, some of the things that they did in the past that you wouldn't want to do. Or maybe there are some things they did successful, but the majority of the time, they're not going to give you the best return on your investment, which is your time. So, make sure that the coaches that you're dealing with or the people that are giving you advice or helping you in life and help you level up are, living the lifestyle you want to live. And are they constantly improving themselves in their business? So are they continuously pouring in on themselves? Do they value themselves? Do they value their business, whatever that may be? Uh, Mentors are not just life coaches and sports coaches. They can also be businessmen. They can be home. They can be stay-at-home parents. They could be babysitters. They could be gurus. They could be anywhere you can find a mentor or somebody that can train you. But make sure that that person is constantly growing on themselves, because if not, you're going to come to a point where you may outgrow your coach, and that's never it's never a comfortable place to be, and it happens, and it's okay. But for me personally, the men and women that I take direction from and I take training from, they are constantly working on themselves. And just when I get to the point, it's like, I think I'm getting close. They continue to find another level to go to. And the beautiful thing about that is it forces me to step my game up. So this goes back to, surrounding yourself, who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if you're putting yourself in a position, even with your mentors, where they're not growing, then eventually you're going to outgrow them, and they're not going to encourage you to continue to grow. So, again, it goes in that same idea of, who is it that you're surrounding yourself with? And are the people that you're calling mentor, trainer, coach, business associate, friend, are they challenging themselves? Are they constantly improving themselves? And if they're not, it's okay for you to say something, because like the saying goes, iron sharpens iron at all time. And last but not least, are they themselves coachable? Are they able to take criticism? Are they able to take direction? Are they able to say, okay, now I'm the student and you're the teacher? And I'm not saying necessarily to be you that's coaching them, but are they able to take direction? And again, it goes back to consistently improving themselves and their business. So if you have a person like that who's who's in your life or even not in your life, that's the person that you want to surround yourself with. That's the person that you want to ask questions to. And I'm going to tell you how to involve yourself with those type of people. So I have right now currently a lot of influential people in my life, and how I got those people in my life was first and foremost making sure that they fit this criteria in some aspect. And then the second thing I would do is I would begin to take interest in things that they take interest in. So that doesn't mean that I started to be a copycat, or I started to be a tag along and just follow whatever, the cool guy was doing. What that means is a lot of the people that I now associate with, they believed in higher education and self-education and self-improvement. So I started to take a look at that. I looked into self-improvement, and I found that there are huge benefits in self-improvement. So I started to develop into that, which allowed me to ask them questions, which put me in common ground with them. And by putting myself in common ground with them, it allowed me to have, more reason to have conversation, which gave me the opportunity to ask the questions that I would ask. So it's truly important. Having the ability to, guys, can you just make sure your phones are muted? So, having the ability to put myself in common ground with some of my mentors allowed me to be in positions to ask them more and more questions and develop real relationships. And through those real relationships, I was able to grow and learn under their direction and compete and begin to develop a stronger circle for myself. That makes sense? So I wanted to give you guys some good examples of like phenomenal coaches. And, I picked a few. This guy right here, he's John Wooden. So John Wooden is he's the head coach. He was a head coach for UCLA and Indiana State in 1945, 1975. Now, what makes John so, such a great coach is that first and foremost, he played basketball. And, as a player, he was the first 3-time All-American ball player in college, and he won a ton of awards. And then when he got into the coaching field, he took that experience and he took his ability and he showed a team how to win 10 championships in a 12-year span. 7 of them were consecutive. It's never ever been done before, and it probably never. I don't want to say it'll never be done again because anything's possible. But the idea is he was a true example of somebody who was a coach, who really focused on, you know, the ability of his team and creating teamwork and building up people. And for this example, if I was a person who wanted to go far in basketball or any athletic sport, John Wooden would be a good example of somebody that I would look to, you know, to get under his wing or to be mentored by, or at the very least, read some of his books, study his life, and start to understand his mentality, because it proved to be very, very effective and successful in the lane that I'm choosing to play in. One of my favorites, Denzel Washington. Actor, director, producer, multiple awards as an actor. He was responsible for multiple careers of other great actors and well-versed in all forms of acting from the big screen to Broadway. Now, Denzel is, to me, a great example of a man that, you know, took a craft and applied it, you know, and applied extreme pressure and just took it to another level. And he did things that other people said probably couldn't be done for a man at his level, but he just took over. And again, just another great example of a person who has blazed a path and, you know, has put himself in a position where his advice and the experiences that he's come from, they can be life-changing. So if I wanted to go into the arts in some way, shape, or form, Denzel Washington is a guy that I would want to follow, and I would want to learn about, and I would want to understand, and I would want to you know, try to get some of his words. Next, one of my favorites, Oprah Winfrey. Now, I'm gonna play this video from Oprah, and because she just sums it up perfectly.
All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. First and foremost, knowing who you are. Knowing who you are. Being able to answer this question, who am I? And what do I want? I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. I don't want to just make a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. You must have some kind of vision for your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have a direction in which you choose to go. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, because if you're not, life will drive you. Knowing who you really are in this space and time that we embody. You must find a way to serve. Martin Luther King said that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Now, we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous and where we admire people for just being famous. We think being known brings us value. The truth is, all of that will fade in time. In 3 years, you won't be able to name the housewives of Atlanta. The real truth is that service and significance, service and the significance that you bring to your service is that which is lasting. When you shift the paradigm of whatever it is you choose to do to service and you bring significance to that, success will, I promise you, follow you. Service and significance equals success. Here's the key: learn from every mistake, because every experience, encounter, and particularly your mistakes are there to teach you and force you into being more of who you are. And then figure out what is the next right move. What is your true calling? What is your dharma? What is your purpose? All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. People don't always like you, and they're not always happy for you. And if you surround yourself with people who are not accustomed to your success, they become fearful, they become scared, because you are reflecting back something to them that they don't recognize. People who want the best for you want you to be your best. So my greatest advice to you is to surround yourself with people who are going to fill your cup until your cup runneth over. And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you, your internal world. Be excellent. People notice. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people say, you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, in every experience, to do the right thing and the excellent thing is what has created the brand.
Wow. So I don't know. So the greatest coach ever, as well as though Oprah, as great as she is Jesus Christ. Now, whether you're a Christian again or part of religion, atheist, it doesn't matter. I'm just specifically talking about the story and the tale of this man, of Jesus Christ. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because, first thing, because of this man, time was literally marked by him. Hence, we have the initials BC. There's literally a time where there was before Christ and after Christ, and that's how we measure time. And the third thing, and the second thing, is the principles behind his teaching: love, compassion. Your words have power. It's influenced by all coaching today in some way, shape, or form. So again, I'm not talking about anybody's views on religion. Whatever your views on religion are, they are. But these are just the facts. And then the third thing is, the man had a 3-year campaign that continues to influence millions to this day.
Billions.
Thank you, David. Literally billions. So if there's one person that we could model ourselves after, besides all the religious sides of things, it would be the model of Jesus Christ. And there are plenty of examples of how you can take those practices and literally use them today. I didn't pull you guys in here to change your religion or anything like that. It's just, those are the facts. That's just the truth. So with that being said, my name is Joshua Silva. As most of you guys know, here are some of the outlets that you can find me on. But in addition to that, this training or this presentation will be available on our website, ntanow.com. Dave, can you just drop that into the chat box?
NTAnow.com.
Yeah, ntanow.com. And again, so this presentation was inspired on the basic fact that I do believe that everybody in the world, whoever you are, wherever you're at, number one, has room to grow. And number two, there's somebody somewhere in today's day and age with the amount of technology that we have that can help you get there. So in order to do that, though, we have to start understanding what it is we need, what it is we want, and who it is we need to reach out for. So, that's my presentation, but I want to open the floor. Is there anybody that has any questions, any comments, anything that they would like to say? I mean, this is truly an important part of the of this whole presentation, because I love to get other people's opinions. And I'm going to end the recording now at this point, and we're just going to go into some sharing.